Let me first start off by prefacing that this video comes from a place of love above all else. I've been playing Rogue since 2019. In the near 7 years I've been playing this game, God, I can't believe it's been 7 years. I've never seen the community so openly full of hatred, so downright malicious, and in a state of corruption at all levels. I'd also like to quickly say that in the past, I've also resorted to toxicity outside of just the game. Around 2022 to 2024, I've said a lot of things that I don't stand by to this day. I was unnecessarily mean to a lot of people, and so to whoever I hurt around that time, I do apologize. Okay, let's continue. This video is going to cover my general thoughts on the Rogue community as a whole, detailing both my experience with the players, as well as the recent situation regarding the moderation team. In 2019, when I first started the game, I was a noob. In 2020, I was a noob. Hell, even in 2021, I was pretty fucking awful at the game. Despite this, community was always easy to find at the time. There was always some sort of space where you could find people who were chill that you could just play the game with, which led to many of my lifelong friendships that I still maintain to this day.
Hey Lyos, I miss you.
However, I've found it increasingly more difficult to interact with Rogue players, especially those in the competitive scene as time goes on. So much so that I've completely left all Rogue Lineage related servers that I'm in. Every time I'm recognized in a server, I'm met with varying levels of toxicity, threats, or just plain bigotry from a significant amount of players. One thing I find is that a lot of Rogue players, especially the competitive ones, like to try and tie your real world value as a human being to your skill in this game. And you know, I'm used to the regular trash talk, like, you know, blah blah, you're poor, I make more money than you're bad at the game. Stuff like that, that's normal, that you expect that from every game. What I struggle to deal with are the people who try to devalue your humanity and make poor assessments of your character based purely off the way you play this game. Above all else, it's childish, and I don't like talking to a lot of the community off this basis alone. Over the years, I've had people try to dox me, I had a guy threaten to show up to my university to beat me up, I've even had members of the community DM my family members and friends on Instagram to try and call them all sorts of shit or leave nasty comments on pages that have nothing to do with Rogue at all. I've also been harassed in more ways than one, where I've had people send me tribute videos to my profile picture when I was 14. Please note that a lot of this is from the past 2 to 3 years, and I've since changed Discord accounts, so finding any of this stuff is difficult. I don't say any of this so you pity me, you know, at the end of the day, I am a grown man. I have thick enough skin to know that it's just an effect of having such a chronically online community exist on as social of a platform as Roblox and Discord. Think Comboys, but slightly more childish. But I say all of this to personally vouch and underscore just how awful this community can be at times. It isn't even just limited to random people I don't know. People I considered myself to be on good terms with, I've also seen become incredibly toxic, or just end up being straight groomers. It's really disheartening, especially when all of the genuinely cool people who made this game fun to play are all gone. I'd like to give an example for this. There was a player who I was on good terms with. There was someone that I played with occasionally, even outside of Rogue, and someone I considered to be a friend, albeit a bit of a weird one at times. However, after I took a year break and returned, I found that they had become incredibly mean, edgy, and just downright unpleasant to talk to. They would come into my live streams on alt accounts to try and talk shit by pretending to be a friend of themselves, which is weird behavior that I just find incredibly strange. I'm not sure why they did this, and I'm not really sure why they changed so much to the point where they downright disliked me, but I don't know. Their name's been blacked out, mainly because I don't want this video to be a name and shame type of thing, but also because this person is someone that thrives off of any kind of attention, and I personally don't think that they deserve as such. Even trying to join old friend groups, I can't shake that feeling that I just don't belong there anymore. Not because I'm better than these people. None of this is to take some moral grandstand over people on like a video game. Our mentalities have both just shifted to a point where I don't personally feel comfortable sharing spaces with a lot of Rogue players outside of my core audience who I know that are They're normal for the most part, yeah. And again, none of this is to use this as like some kind of moral high ground, you know, oh, I'm better than you because I'm not toxic. Whatever, it's a video game, I understand. My intention is purely to just point out how this community, as it shrunk in player base, has grown increasingly more toxic, volatile, and has turned into an unwelcoming space for so many people. This behavior is not only reflected in the players, but also in the moderators, which is a topic I'd like to get to now. Ever since I can remember, the mod positions in Rogue were always riddled with controversy and corruption. Back in 2020 and 2021, we had mods like Jax, who would use God Observe to find ganks, and even got caught buying artifacts at the time. Little unrelated side note, I remember back when Cap Casino used to beef with the entire mod team, he was like the people's hero or something. But compared to the sheer scale of corruption and childish antics currently going on in the mod team, this really pales in comparison. I've spoken to both Batu and Kiki, two players who were part of the team that worked on this doc, and while incredibly confusing, they helped me understand exactly what's been happening. To summarize, the mod team as it stands is led by Void and Sheep, two players who don't get on well in any capacity. Sheep has been known to involve himself in the black market community, and Void is known to lash out and complain about everyone around him, whether that be other mods, Sheep, or even the developers. And Archmage, because apparently he's not even a dev anymore. There's also proof of moderators black marketing accounts with specs on mod panel, or just outright giving them to their friends. If you'd like to see all of the proof, I highly recommend you check out the Google Doc that they wrote about all of this. I'll have it linked in the description. Low-key, the part that pissed me off the most about this entire thing was finding out that mods get paid. They get paid, and they still ignore my restore tickets, bro, what the fuck? More seriously though, this highlights the mod team's lack of professionalism. I personally believe that ever since Horror TM, the former head mod, stepped down, there was a grasp for power of some kind, leading to levels of backchatting, toxicity, and corruption within the mod team. It almost perfectly emulates the behavior of the community at large, and it's really disappointing to see how even, like, the further up you go to moderation, this game's community is rotten. So why do I bring this all up? Above all else, I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated with how much this community has gotten worse over time, and how I watch so many of my friends, including Legmeat, drift further and further away from the community just because of how garbage it can be. Legs had people create AI voiceovers using his voice to make him say slurs that he did not say, and was harassed by players like 7th Plague for being gay, which is honestly just kind of weird. What's even weirder is that 7th Plague now uploads Dandy's World brain rot videos, so I don't know, make of that what you will, I guess. So, when you begin to ask, why does Rogue always feel like it's dying? Sure, the game's lack of content is a reason, but I'd argue the community has a lot more to do with it than we let ourselves admit. This community sucks, and I hope I've made my personal experience clear to you all, and properly explained why I refuse to interact with the Rogue community. Thank you for watching. Also, I'd just like to use this as a public call out to Nilvat. I just found out that your name is also Wasim, and so I would like to 1v1 you to the death in real life in a cage fight. Whoever wins gets to keep the name Wasim, whoever loses, I don't know, fucking dies or something.